It's amazing what Elon Musk is discovering and exposing. And I cannot believe that Maxine Walters and Schumer and these guys are all trying to defend the waste of government spending. And what's worse is the hundreds of millions of dollars, like $1 billion in the education system, for toxic racial theory and for the whole DEI Marxist takeover of the education system being exposed right now. The funding that was going in make people rich off of and the word toxic is for real. Matter of fact, I had to stop and talk to Annabelle because she was discussing with me the other day, and also Chelsea, about how the government cannot be trusted, much to my surprise, regarding how it handles anything, including the pharmaceutical industries. And they're all the Make America Healthy again. I pity any senator that tries to keep Kennedy from getting in there to go fix things. But one of the areas that's shocking to me is water, something as fundamental as water. That and the point was made that, all of the pharmaceuticals, all the injections that were going on, that it all recycles into the water system, and you can't get it. It gets into the water supply. You've got toxic chemicals, pharmaceutical runoff from all kinds of drugs, heavy metals. You actually have to filter the impurity out of the water. It's like a two-stage thing. One, to strip it from all the garbage. Another one, to put the mineral life back into it. And I've got machinery. Annabelle's putting it in my house under all the sinks and everything. Chelsea, then I find out that you're the authority on this subject. What can people do here? Because Sentry H2O, we're going to have this guy on. He's like a engineer. SentryH2O.com. I want you guys to get a hold of this website. Use the promo code Lance because we're going to get a discount for all of you. What is this?
I love this. I met the founder of this company. I immediately got my hands on it. I have the shower filter in. That's my favorite product. My hair is the softest it's ever been. I mean, I accidentally took an hour-long shower. I will admit.
I want the chemicals out of my water. Yeah. I don't care about the hair.
I care.
It's about this pharmaceutical. It's disgusting. Right. Toxins in the water.
So your water is full of pharmaceuticals, horrible stuff. I mean, I'll read the list. It's like ammonia, lead, fluoride, cyanide, copper, chlorine, chromium, arsenic, sulfates, pesticide, bacteria, PFAS, PFOS, pharmaceuticals, more. Yuck. So what this does is it filters all that toxic stuff out, and then it's enriching your water. It's making your water alive again. Your water coming out of the tap is dead. Your water coming out of your water bottle is dead. What this is doing is it's making your water alive again by enriching it, making it pH balanced, alkalinity, putting all these good nutrients back in, like how a spring would have. It's so good for you. People love it. I love it. I've heard great stories. I'm excited to have the founder on. We'll have him on in the future to talk to him more about it. But you want to go to SentryH2O.com, use coupon code Lance. That's coupon code Lance. You're going to save 10% off your order. The under the sink system is the best place to start.
Under the sink. Mm-hmm. All right, so can a homeowner do it? Can someone like me do it?
Oh, I watched.
It'll be hilarious. I'll do it live, maybe on the air.
60-something-year-old mother put it in under the sink herself.
All right, I want you to go to Sentry, SentryH2O.com. Use promo code Lance, get 10% off, and join me as I get rid of all of these disgusting chemicals coming into the water and putting the minerals back in. Listen, folks, this engineer, I think he designed this thing for NASA, didn't he? Wasn't he one of the NASA guys?
So he has other companies. He also designs parts for planes. He designed a water filter for NASA that they use. I mean, he's a brilliant person. He's designed all these other products.
We're going to get him on, but I want you guys to get an advance on this because I'm going there. My wife's got me, Chelsea's got me convinced this is what I got to do next. Use code Lance, save 10%, SentryH2O.com. Let's get into today's wild show.
We're flying right over it right now, so we thought this would be appropriate. Even bigger than the Super Bowl. This is a big thing. And almost everybody now has assented to that.
Attention on board. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please direct your attention out the right side of the aircraft. Air Force One is currently in international waters, for the first time in history, flying over the recently renamed Gulf of America. Please enjoy the flight, and we are now about to head westbound to Super Bowl 59.
Wow, yeah. He did that well. That's a good... Make America great again, right? That's what we care about. Okay, here we go.
Well, I wanted you to see El Presidente on his way to the Super Bowl. As he said, this is even bigger than the Super Bowl. Only Donald Trump could say he wanted to create something that would be bigger than the Super Bowl. I don't know if he succeeded, but as you could see, the Gulf of America is there on Google Maps. Now, do you remember at the inauguration, so many of my friends were saying, I don't know, he's with all the tech oligarchs. He's got the CEO of Google and Zuckerberg there and Tim Cook and Jeff Bezos. And, well, of course, Trump understands he's the businessman. And listen, Silicon Valley, they're a business. And he's putting his arms around and says, hey, boys, let's forget about the past. Oh, I know about all the drop boxes, and I know how you've skewed all the search engines against me, but we're on the same team now, right, guys? Yes, we are, boss. All right. So he says to Google, hey, I need you to change the map there to the Gulf of America. And Google did it. Tim Cook is dragging his feet because, you know, as my son Carl says, Apple thinks different, but they think dollars. And so you watch as the Gulf of America becomes common language. Trump, in the meantime, Trump is trolling Canada again, saying it would be such a beautiful thing if you would become the 51st state. He's still on that as he drops a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum. And that's Peter Navarro, our lovely Peter Navarro, going to work there with the Trade Department, saying that what they're doing is they're killing American manufacturing, you see. And we've done this over the years. A bunch of people made money in Wall Street, and corporate America made their billions and trillions off of basically downsizing America and investing in the cheap transfer of goods, et cetera. But it gutted the American manufacturing base. It put people out of work. And Trump says, hey, man, the middle class need jobs. And to do that, we cannot give away all of our industrial base. So steel and aluminum we can't be dependent on other countries for our own infrastructure, buildings, highways, metals. No. America's going to be U.S. Steel started in America. Carnegie Mellon started in America. These were American businesses and American genius, the titans of American industry, filled the world with our roads, our petrol, our fuel, our cars, our steel structure for buildings. It all came from America. And he's saying we're bringing back this genius of American manufacturing. And so for that reason, I had to play that. But what could bankrupt us is 88 days, every 88 days, we print $1 trillion that we don't have because of government inefficiency. And to hear the squawking and squealing of, typically it's the leftists and the Democrats about Elon Musk. And what really cracks me up is the articles they say about it's the oligarchs, it's the billionaires taking over. It's like Bernie Sanders, it's the billionaires. Well, what do you think? George Soros just got a Medal of Freedom wrapped around his neck. For what? He's a billionaire funding you guys. It's just now Trump's got his billionaires. It's the battle of the billion. Trump's a billionaire. And thank God we got some people with a B, billions, that can actually go fight. All right, so let's go see what Elon Musk came up with. What are they upset about? Elon Musk exposed FEMA sent $59 million to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegals. Well, actually, it was $20 million, and then another $30 million for food and amenities and clothing and security and other expenses, with a total of $59 million to New York City. So here's the deal, Lucille. If you're going to make a sanctuary city and you're going to defy the will of the president, and you're going to defy the best interests of Americans, you pay for it. Let's see how long you're in office when your people are paying for your decision to be a sanctuary. You can't be a sanctuary and charge me for your sanctuary. You want to be a sanctuary? Be a principled sanctuarian and pay for your own illegal activity. So Elon is exposing FEMA, and I've got the goods here. 4 FEMA employees were fired for paying for those hotels for migrants in New York City. The Department of Homeland Security told Fox News that 4 employees are being fired today because, in spite of what Trump has said, they're circumventing the will of Washington and cutting checks to their left-wing friends. So immediately, after finding this out, the chief financial officer and 2 program analysts and a grant specialist are all taken out. And under President Trump and Secretary Noem's leadership, the DHS will not sit idly and allow deep state activists to undermine the will and safety of the American people. These were allocated during the Biden administration. $20 million for direct hotel costs, and the rest, the balance for food and for other services. So New York City has been wasting billions of dollars of taxpayer money to provide free housing, clothing, food, education, and health care. I knew there was more in that $50 million that was gone, including criminal aliens that are here illegally. So there you've got that. Now, let's go ahead and grab, what do we have here for assets on that? For those of you that are on the podcast, play for me. This is an amazing thing. That's the one that's coming out of FEMA. But I remember when Karine Jean-Pierre was challenged by journalists about the fact that FEMA was diverting funds from hurricane victims in order to divert it to illegals. And I think she denied it. Play that clip.
Disaster relief, this is a falsehood. Disaster relief funds used on immigrants illegally in the U.S. The fact is, no money is being diverted from response needs.
Oh, blatant, in your face, lying to the American people. Oh, what are we going to do? Let's take a look at the tweet. You want to read this one to me with your laser-like eyes there, young millennial Chelsea? What do we got here for tweet number 7?
Absolutely. So this is from Cameron Hamilton, who is the new FEMA director. I want to thank the Doge team for making me aware of this. Effective yesterday, these payments have all been suspended from FEMA. Personnel will be held accountable. So he retweeted an original tweet that said the Doge team just discovered that FEMA sent $59 million last week to luxury hotels in New York City to house illegal immigrants. Sending this money violated the law and is in gross insubordination to the president's executive order.
All right, so I just covered yesterday at the end of the show a late-breaking news that left-wing Christian takeover from the left. They were funding magazines that come into your house, these Christian magazines that are all undercutting the movement of what God's doing to restore America, and they're co-opting their own preachers in order to rent evangelicals to go fight, literally, the Christian Reformation in America. But what's also here is play video 8 because they were funding even Politico. And I remember when I was at the Republican convention, Politico had its big office there, and they were like, I looked and I wondered, where did they get the money to run this operation? Well, the government was funding the media in order to be anti-you and anti-government taxpayer money funding the left-wing media outlets. They're in free fall now. What are they going to do as Trump cuts off the fake money on the fake news? This will be interesting. Watch what Carolyn Levitt has to say.
So upon coming out here to the briefing room, I was made aware of the funding from USAID to media outlets, including Politico, who I know has a seat in this room. And I can confirm that the more than $8 million taxpayer dollars that have gone to essentially subsidizing subscriptions to Politico on the American taxpayers' dime will no longer be happening. The Doge team is working on canceling those payments now. Again, this is a whole of government effort to ensure that we are going line by line when it comes to the federal government's books. And this president and his team are making decisions across the board on, do these receipts serve the interests of the American people? Is this a good use of the American taxpayers' money? If it is not, that funding will no longer be sent abroad, and American taxpayers will see significant savings because of that effort.
And, when you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars, a lot of this millions is just a drop in the bucket, but it shows if you can't be trusted in that which is least, you can't be trusted in most. I watched Jon Stewart the other day. It's too bad we don't have a segment of it here, where he's talking to this condescending government bureaucrat who's mocking him for saying, no, we can't possibly track $500 billion or $300 billion worth of aid to Ukraine. I mean, how do you track that? And he's saying, it seems to me that that's what fraud and mismanagement is, when you cannot track hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't think these stories are going to go. When we come back, we're going to talk about the $1 billion of diversity grants. $1 billion given to consultants and educators that run 501c3s in order to propagandize your children. $1 billion in Marxist money. Your tax money sent to education to destroy America. We'll be right back.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that we're making it through. My employees and I want to thank you for your continued support by extending our wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows only $14.98. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98. But it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get my body pillows $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including my standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.98, Kings only $1 more. Not only that, order $75 or more, ship absolutely free. From all of us here at MyPillow, thanks America!
Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code Lance to save big on all of Mike's best products. That's promo code Lance.
Welcome back. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a 5-star review if you're listening to the podcast. That review, my friend, is what enables us to actually be on the air. The U.S. Department of Education spent, according to Natalie Danielson, spent $1 billion on grants advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion in their hiring practices. Hiring, guaranteed. Guess who isn't hired in that diversity? Yeah, you guessed it. White heterosexuals and Catholics and evangelicals. Guarantee that $1 billion in grants was not going for you. Programming that was spent for mental health training in American schools since 2021. $489 million for race-based hiring. Isn't that helpful? $343 million towards general diversity and equity programming. $169 million went to DEI-based mental health training. Well, $1 billion spent in all. That's why the Department of Education needs to be abolished. It's nothing but a feeding trough for the ideological cesspool of the left and the teachers' unions. Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Today, the Department of Education terminated 29 DEI training grants totaling $101 million. Now, you know what? I think about this. How much effort goes into just doing a program, a weekend training? Well, we do them. And it's thousands of dollars. When the government is putting out $101 million for training, this is why the 5 richest counties in the United States are all surrounding Washington, D.C. We should move there because the government trough, it just churns out money for stupid stuff, and it's a money spigot. One sought to train teachers to help students understand and interrogate the complex histories involved in American oppression, to help students recognize areas of privilege and power on an individual or a collective basis. It's pure Marxist fragmentation of American culture, turning people against each other, resentment, bitterness, unforgiveness, instead of confidence, instead of hope, instead of personal choice on what you want, whether you want to live in a bungalow or in a mansion. In America, you should be able to have an equal opportunity, and you shouldn't be penalized or advantaged because of your religion or your race, your creed, or your sexual orientation. From 2021 to present, the Biden administration awarded 229 grants across 42 states spent for race-based programs. Can you imagine that, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I don't want to, I'm just telling you, there's more being done right now by the wrecking ball of God's cosmic providence to undo the damage that was done in America than even we understood during the election cycle. And to me, you know, and this, I have to do a hard pivot here to go into what's happening internationally, but Trump is literally dismantling the strongholds of hell that have been locked into position over our institutions. And then he comes around, I got to cover this one too, because it's an important one. Trump signs an executive order banning trans women from women's sports. I hate the language. This has to be an NBC. Of course it is. I have to look at the bottom of my page because there's a way journalists frame things. So in other words, Trump bans men from beating up women in women's sports. Trump bans men, but they're going to call it Trump targets transgender people. What is a transgender people? It's a guy who thinks he's a girl who wants to compete against women. That's targeting transgender people. And so we got to read exactly how they language this. In a call with reporters Wednesday morning ahead of the signing, White House officials said that they expect headlines about the executive order to use the word transgender, but this has nothing to do with that. The order, they said, aims to protect women's access to safe and fair athletic opportunities, and will do that in two ways. First, the administration will roll back Biden's guidance on the civil rights law that prevents sex-based discrimination. What they did was they took the law that says you can't discriminate based upon sex, meaning male, female, meaning race, meaning what would be described back then as eliminating the barriers to fairness. And then they expanded it with the trans movement to include men surgically getting altered to become women and then competing with women. Under that guidance, schools were required to allow trans students to access school sports team and sex-segregated facilities that align with whatever they describe themselves to be in gender. Trump's orders will instead bar students assigned as a male at birth from participating in girls' and women's sports and using women's restrooms. Right? That makes sense. And of course, this is going to be met with all kinds of screeching on the left because they don't want to assign your gender at birth. They want you to have the freedom to assign your gender to whatever you feel like that day. And so regardless of the sex assigned at birth, they would want to be able to participate in these sports. The Gallup survey, I think this is interesting, conducted in May of 2023 to show you how the needle has moved, says that nearly 70% of respondents, 70%, said trans athletes should be allowed to compete only on sports teams that correspond with their birth sex. What do you think it was in 2021? 2021, it was 62%. Now, that's still the majority, but from 2021, 62 up to 70 tells you that the American public actually has come to the conclusion. They're fair-minded, they're open-minded, they don't want discrimination, they want people to be free to do what they want. Then as they looked at this and they weighed it and they understood it, they came to the wise conclusion that men should not be competing against women in women's sports. And this became the topic leading up to the November elections. I think the left thought they were going to hammer Trump on abortion and smash him because of my body, my choice. But they found out that the trans issue trumped the abortion issue, and people felt much stronger about that. You were saying?
I'd love to play the video because I think it's a celebration. There's a verse that says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And so there's this cool video, number 16, where it's him actually signing the executive order, and all of these girls are around him just so happy that he did this. Can we play it? Is that okay with you?
Watch what I do, and then I'm going to give you some pens, okay? You ready? What a nice picture this is, huh, Governor? You ready? We'll do a good job. Wait, let me press that. I want to make this a really good signature because this is, this is a big one, right? Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10.
God bless you, Mr. President.
Well, one of the things I got to say about Trump that is the nightmare to the left is on occasion, presidents get lucky and they have the press corps or their PR people and they set them up to look good and have a moment. Trump is his own press corps. He knows exactly how to frame the picture, whether it's on Air Force One flying over the Gulf or whether it's right there surrounded by all these girls. And what a difference between him and Biden, who was so weird around girls, and Trump just like grandpa there, just enjoying it, being there at Mar-a-Lago with all the grandkids. So I hate to pivot into a story like this so abruptly, but Trump is making an announcement as we're here, and he's saying that he has looked at the pictures of the girls and of the women and of the men coming out of Hamas custody, and he is furious. He's kind of like an Old Testament king in this sense. He gets righteously indignant. He is seeing these people look like Holocaust survivors. Matter of fact, play the video 11 of his response to what's happening as he's seeing these images.
Well, I would say this, and I'm going to let that because that's Israel's decision. But as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, I would say all hell is going to break out.
When you say all hell is going to break loose, are you speaking about retaliation from
You'll
Israel?
find out,
Okay.
and they'll find out, too. Hamas will find out what I mean.
Mr. President,
They're going to find out what I mean. These are sick people, and they'll find out what I mean Saturday at 12 o'clock.
But no involvement.
My God, it's like high noon with the sheriff. Saturday at 12 o'clock. You'll find out. It's a difficult situation he's got, but he's not going to be played by Hamas. Iranian-backed terrorist organization Hamas announced Monday it will not comply with the next stage of previously negotiated hostage release. And this just days after the release of 3 hostages that were starved and tortured relentlessly for 491 days. There's 73 hostages remaining in Gaza. And so Trump says he's losing patience with the terrorist group. He said they literally look like old pictures of Holocaust. Put it up there real quick. Old pictures of Holocaust survivors. Look at them, top to bottom. And I don't know how much longer we could take this, Trump said. And they'll find out. They'll find out. Trump has already indicated he'll take over Gaza. In other words, the way that this war ends is you lose your real estate. You're not going to go back and pick up where you left off and have millions and billions of dollars of global funding coming back in to rebuild. Nope. Trump's going to take that property, that territory, one way or the other, tunnels included, and it's no longer going to become the outpost. Douglas Murray, excuse me, Douglas Murray has a great article in the New York Post on Gaza must reject terror, and Hamas has to be defeated to end the war, and they don't know they're defeated until they don't get their territory back. But I recommend you read that. By the way, you want to like and subscribe. This is the end of the show, isn't it?
Yes, we're done.
Oh, my gosh. Can't believe it. Time flies. Leave a 5-star review on the podcast platforms, wherever you are watching. And stay connected. Remember Lance Wallnau.
LanceWallnau.com/podcast. If you go there, you're going to see the latest episode, and it's going to take you directly to any app you want. We're on all of them: YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, podcast. Just look for the Lance Wallnau Show, WALLNAU. We're everywhere. Make sure you subscribe.
Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Oh boy, I can't wait to see what's cooking in this news cycle. This is an exciting time to be alive. We'll see you again. We're entering a period of time that has increased hostility against people of faith. It's a time when Christians are going to be tested on a moral, physical, psychological, and even a financial basis. I'm here to remind you that God is the one who has blessed you thus far, and He will take care of you in the future. You have a divine responsibility, however, to see trouble and prepare yourself. For example, with record inflation eating away at the value of the U.S. dollar, the savings in your retirement account is in danger of slipping away. I recommend diversifying your 401k or IRA out of paper assets and into physical gold. And the best way to do that is with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. Now that includes no penalties, there's no taxes when you transfer current retirement funds into Birch Gold. To see how it works, I want you to go to lancewallnau.com/Birch and get your free info kit, and you'll be glad that you did.
Did you enjoy this latest episode? Please remember to share it with your friends, because the more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to navigate the world.